Hello students, today's agenda is to check homework. We'll be working on the parabola function and you will be able to do 10.3. Today students will be able to, given a general formula, derive the formula for a parabola, given also the general directrix and focus. And the general formula that we will be needing is x minus h squared equals 4p times y minus k. So this is the one that is going to be helping us to find the equation or function of the parabola for the specific vertex, directrix, or focus point that they give us. So they're going to give us two of those three pieces of information, and we are going to be able to find the equation or function. Okay, so this is the general function that we will be using, and from this, h and k refer to the x and y coordinates of the vertex. Okay, so we will be needing the vertex, and h is the value of x and k is the value of y. P is going to be the distance between the vertex and the focus point. Okay, so those are the two pieces of information that we're going to be needing so that we can plug them in here. So now that when I have this information, I'm going to plug that in there. K goes in there, and the distance of P is going to go in there. Okay, having that in mind, let's begin with the first example. So let's say that for the first example, they give us F, which is the focus, is 2, 3, and the directrix is at y equals 0. Okay. In here, what we're going to do is actually sketch. So the focus is going to be at 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, so right there. So that's my focus, and I'm just going to put the coordinate to make it easier for me. The vertex, we learned yesterday that it's always between, and the directrix is in y equals 0, so the directrix is right here. Okay, so that's D, where y equals 0. The vertex is always in the middle of the directrix and the focus point, which is halfway. If for the y value this is 3, then halfway is going to be 1.5. So the vertex is at 2 for x, because it's still 2 spaces for x, and 1.5 for y. And so that's what becomes our h and k, right? Remember that this is for the vertex, so that's h and this is k. So P is the distance between the vertex and the focus point. So let's say that the parabola will always open opposite of the directrix, and it will have the focus right in the middle. Well, not in the middle, but I guess in the middle from the two sides of the parabola, okay? And so the P, which is right here from the vertex to the focus, I'm just gonna put it right here, P is equals to, well, the distance between these 2 points is 1.5, because it's halfway, right? So now we have our H, K, and P, which is what we need for the general formula. Now we can start to find the function of the parabola formed with this information. Okay, so the formula is x minus h, but we know that h is 2, and all of that to the second power equals 4 multiplied by p, which is 1.5, times y minus k, which is also 1.5. This is just coincidence, okay? And it's because the directrix is at y equals 0. Otherwise, you'll see in the next example that it's not exactly the same every single time. Okay, from previous lessons, this can be done directly. Anytime that you have a perfect square, meaning something, a binomial to the second power, we know that the answer will be square of the first one, square of the second term, which is negative 2 times negative 2, will be positive 4. And then we multiply a times b, which is x times negative 2, is negative 2x. Double that is negative 4x. So that's going to be replaced in here. And we have to do that on the side, actually. So the answer for x minus 2, everything to the second power, is x squared minus 4x plus 4. If you don't remember that, you might have remembered the other method, which is x minus 2. Squared means multiply it by itself 2 times. And so you're going to be doing double distributive property. So x times x and x times negative 2. Then you take the second term on the first parenthesis and it's negative 2 times x and negative 2 times negative 2. So that's what you're going to be doing if you remember more this method. So x times x is x squared. X times negative 2 is negative 2x. Then we will go to the next one. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. And negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. After that, we combine like terms. And we get x squared minus 4x plus 4. As you can see, you get the same answer, okay? And that's what we're going to be putting in there. Okay, let's continue with the rest. So 4 times 1.5 is 6. You can use a calculator if you want, that's fine. Then y minus 1.5. We do distributive property in here. And so we just keep this the same. We're not going to do anything with it. We're just going to bring it down. 6 times y is 6y. 6 times negative 1.5 is negative 9. Again, you can use your calculator for that. Or you can actually practice those skills of multiplying decimals. So 4 times 1.5. 4 times 5 is 20. Carry 2. 4 times 1 is 4 and 2 is 6. 1 decimal place, so since there is 1, you go back 1, so it's 6. Same for the next one. 6 times 1.5. 6 times 5 is 30, carry 3. 6 times 1 is 6, and 3 is 9, but there's 1 decimal place, so you go back. Okay, so that's 9. Okay. And I'm going to summarize this because I'm doing things on the side, so that might get confusing. Okay, so let me summarize. We replaced the value of h, k, and p in here. This is h, k, and p. Then we simplify this from multiplication of a binomial times itself. This is the answer, you notice in here. In here, we start simplifying this side as well. So 4 times 1.5 is 6, and bring this down. Then I do distributive property, and you get 6 times y is 6y. 6 times negative 1.5 is negative 9. This you just brought down because you don't do anything with it. Then what we need to do is leave y by itself. So if I'm subtracting 9, the opposite is to add 9 to both sides. And I get 6y equals x squared minus 4x. 4 plus 9 is 13. Finally, if I'm multiplying by 6, the opposite is to divide by 6. And so I just want to go back again to a note that I gave you before, that dividing by 6 is the same as multiplying by 1 over 6. Or if you're dividing by 8, it's the same as multiplying by 1/8. Or if we're dividing by any number, okay, it's just like creating a multiplication of a fraction with 1 over that number. Okay, so it can be any number, and it's the same as multiplying by a fraction. This goes to the denominator, and you just put a 1 on the numerator. So just for the sake of it, in the functions or equations, we put y at the beginning. So I'm just going to bring it, it's already isolated. In here, since I'm dividing everything by 6, I'm just going to put as 1/6. Everything divided by 6 is the same as multiplying everything by that 1/6. Okay, so x squared minus 4x plus 13, and that's going to be your answer. You can just leave it like that. Again, we're dividing by 6, but we're going to put it as a fraction of 1/6 of that. Okay. In class, I actually showed what they would have to do if your professor, once you go to college, they ask you to simplify each individual term. This is what you would do. In my class, you can just go as far as that. Okay, so it will be y equals, divide 1 by 6 is just 1/6 of x squared. And here, negative 4x divided by 6 is like putting negative 4 divided by 6. You can simplify because half of that is negative 2, half of 6 is 3. So minus 2/3 of x. And finally, 13 divided by 6 is the same as, how many times is the 6 going to 13? 2 times. How many are left? 2 times 6 is 12. 2 13 is 1 more. So 2 and 1/6. If you wish, I'm going to have the answers both ways. So you can end everything here, or you can have this one if you wish, because I'm going to be giving you both. Okay, the next one is now they're giving us v equals, v, the vertex is at 3, 5, and the directrix is at y equals 1. If I create the sketch, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my vertex is right here at 3, 5. The directrix is right here at y equals 1. Okay? So remember that for the formula we need the vertex and we need p. P is the distance between the vertex and the focus, but we also know that the vertex is between the directrix and the focus, so this is halfway. That means that is the same distance. So I can basically just figure out P by just figuring out how many spaces between also the directrix and the vertex. So this is 1, y is 1, 1, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. Okay, so that's my P, the distance between the vertex and the directrix basically is 4. So now I have my vertex, which is H, my Y is K. So now I have H, K, and P, which I can plug into the general formula. Okay, so this one, since they gave us the vertex, we don't have to do much more. Okay, so we have X minus H, which is 3 square, equals 4 times P, which is 4 in this case, times Y minus K, which is 5. Okay, and so you can do the work on the side if you want to multiply the two. Okay, so this double distributive property, I'm just gonna do this square will be x squared because x times x, x squared. Negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. And then in here I just multiply x times negative 3 is negative 3x. But double that, meaning multiply it by 2, is negative 6x. Okay, another way of seeing it in here is just bring the same sign. The square root of this is 3, just double that. Okay, that's something that we saw in the past. 4 times 4 is 16. Bring this down, y minus 5. Distributive property, I keep this the same. 16 times y is 16y. 16 times negative 5 is negative 80. If I'm subtracting, the opposite is to add 80 to both sides. And so I get x squared minus 6x plus 89 equals 16y. The last step is to divide by 16. And so remember this y, we're just going to put it in here because that's the way it's traditionally written. In here, it's just divided by 16 is the same as multiplying by 1/16, and you just bring this the same way it is right now. Okay, so x squared minus 6x plus 89. So basically, you can go farther by dividing each one and simplifying, or you can just leave it at this. Okay, let me do one more. They're giving us, for number 3, they're giving us the vertex again, which is at 0, 2, and the directrix, which is y equals 1.75. If we sketch this, the vertex is at 0, 2, so 0, 1, 2, that's the vertex, and the directrix is at 1.75, so about there. Directrix, it's at y equals 1.75. So P, remember, is the distance between vertex and focus, or the directrix and vertex. So in here, we're going to say that P is equals to, what's the distance between that and that? Well, from 1.75 to 2, it's only 0.25. Okay? And so we're going to start now. Let me put the general formula here. We already have H and K, and we already found the value of P. So we can start plugging in. X minus H is 0. Square that. And then 4 times P, we already know that P is 0.25, times y minus k, which is 2. And so x minus 0 is just x squared. 4 times 0.25 is 1 times y minus 2. And so it's x squared equals 1 times y is y. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. I add 2 to both sides. And so I'm going to put y first. So y equals, these cannot combine, so we're just going to get x squared plus 2. And so that's it for this. So the next two, I'm going to do them in a separate video. And it's just because it's a little long. So for the next ones, they're giving me actually the focus point and the vertex. Okay, so we'll see that in 10.3b.